And the 19th of July, and I am back with you. I was doing a major preparation for this move over the weekend, and really had to prepare for it. Friday started it, the preparation, and I did an estate sale on Saturday, and a little bit today, a little bit this afternoon. And with that said, tremendous preparation had to happen. And so I transformed this clinical medical spa into a boutique. So it was quite an undertaking, to be said. But I'm back with you. It's Sunday night, and I'm thrilled to be here, speaking with you tonight about the Propel expansion and starting, scaling, sustaining the business and life of your dreams. But tonight we're going to be speaking about purpose. And it is imperative to know your purpose. But the interesting thing about purpose is that it is really revealed to you through your passion. And then the other reality of passion is that you have to be clear on what that is. And that is why it is the first C of the Propel program. And the 5 C's are clarity, courage, confidence, commitment, and compassion. And the first C, clarity, really is helping you to understand your why. Meaning, why would you do anything? And that is that first C, that clarity. Now, I just mentioned I did a estate sale. Well, the interesting thing about this, guys, and it's too long to go into it. I've talked a lot about this, but the essence of leading up to this is that this brick and mortar that I've had for 4.5 years this season is coming to a close, the brick and mortar piece. I started the first brick and mortar back in 2004, really. Moved up to the historic Georgetown Square in Texas, outside of Austin, in 2005, and started in one location, and then evolved to our permanent location in 2007. And so evolution is really part of your life. I mean, to perceive that something is just like a straight line is very, very unrealistic. It's just truly unrealistic, because you learn and grow through the journey, not just that, oh, I'm going to do this today and that is going to be tomorrow. No, it's going to evolve. And so, but the clarity piece of what I did was I knew as I knew when I came to Georgetown, Texas in 2004 and took a one-room studio in, now this is 2004, guys, and this is 2026. A lot of years. But I knew as I knew that I was going to initially test the market as an esthetician in a one-room studio. So I started in one room in a lovely hair salon, which had a great reputation, where I was able to really interface with a lot of the community, which was great. But regardless, it was I was just renting a room from the folks that owned this business. But that is where I began. I didn't even physically live in Georgetown, Texas. I lived in Fort Worth, Texas. And the reason I took the one room is because I wanted to test the market and see if this was absolutely what I wanted to do. Meaning I lived in Fort Worth, Texas, which was 2.5 hours north. So, I mean, I couldn't come every day. It was a type of situation where I would come once a week and stay overnight and basically not only test the market, but begin to build a base of business and a reputation and relationships, because business is all about relationships. So, as a product manufacturer, an esthetician, so I came with product in hand and my experience and knowledge, and took a one-room studio and started building that base of business. During that season, I recognized I did love the whole essence of this community, and so it wasn't as easy as just saying, okay, I'm going to move here. No, I had a manufacturing facility in Fort Worth and a warehouse and employees, and I owned a home. So it wasn't, just saying, oh, well, I'm just going to pack my bag and come on down. No, no. I essentially the genesis of that even thread of decision was really about family, and that's another whole evening and story. But I knew as I knew I needed to be here. It was only 2.5 hours away, so I could come and go, but I really recognized it was going to require more hands-on what I needed to do, so family-wise. So but when I saw that it was something I wanted to do, that's when I implemented what I just said. And then by the summerish of 2000, early summer of 2004, I basically put my home on the market and moved to Georgetown, Texas. So it was an amazing thing, because just in preparation to be doing what I'm doing, I was going through some things in a storage building, and I uncovered some, not uncovered, but I was reorganizing some things, and there were some frames that were in a storage box, and there was a lot of newspaper surrounding these frames, and I took the newspapers out, and lo and behold, the date of the newspaper was the date of when I saw it 22 years ago, in 2004. So it was it was a confirmation, guys, that I was to be doing this. It was a true confirmation that what I had decided to do was the right step. So I did exactly what I just shared with you. And then the following year, or during that season, I was approached by a party who was opening a new business on the historic square and invited me to go into that building with them. So that enabled me to have my first, not total my own brick and mortar, but my own planting the flag on the historic Georgetown Square and coming up to the Georgetown Square. And that was July of 2005. Wow. So with that, I started the Novità Spa on the square. And then 2 years later, I took my own space and started building the Novità Spa and Medical Rejuvenation Clinic. And that is where I was, and built that for about 18 years. And then a party approached me to if I was interested in selling them the business. I said to the party I was not interested in selling the intellectual property, which was basically the trade name, which is federally trademarked, Novita Spa, the product line, which is of the same name, Novita Spa Clinicals, the relationship I had with the perinatal stem cell company, which they weren't interested in. So we basically worked through that, and I continued, I moved 2 blocks over to the location where completing these 4.5 years. The first year, 21, I found a small location and several of the gals that used to work for me rented it, and I subleased it from them to do the perinatal stem cell until I found my own location. So that's a long story, guys, to get to the point that um, uh, basically I knew as I knew. Now, I said tonight is going to be speaking about your purpose, but I knew as I knew, guys. This, I've been in business a long, long time, so I knew my purpose already. Your passion reveals your purpose, and so many, I've always known many years ago that I'm creative and that I was always going to do something creative. And so if I'm always looking at things from the basically the structure of whether it's marketing, expanding something, it's through that creative process. But my underlying purpose is you, to help you identify your dreams, goals, and desires. But the reason I shared that essence of the step-by-step, meaning the one-room studio, building a base of business, seeing if I wanted to be here, then coming up to being invited to join a party who was opening a larger, space that had ample space for me to carve out about 1,000 square feet, and got me on the square, so to speak, and started building that base of business. And then again, continuing to do that and marketing the name, all of that, building relationships. But I had a small staff now. It wasn't just me. It was a massage therapist. There were 2 estheticians and a nail technician. And that nail tech was also an esthetician, so she was one of those 2. And during that season is when I took the space 2 doors down and carved out and started expanding that new space, which was dramatically larger and grew to a very large business. And that's what I sold in end of 20 going into 21. So we had started doing regenerative stem cell at the medical rejuvenation portion of the business in 19. And so we continued, never stopped doing it, and then found this location in 22 and opened in the spring of 22. So we've been here for a little over 4 years, and I had a few months left in the lease, but the landlord is going to be remodeling this whole strip of spaces that he owns. And so it just was more, not convenient, it was doable for both of us to expedite the lease. So when I asked him, he said yes, and knowing that he was going to be doing this. The reason I share this, guys, is again, I've been doing regenerative stem cell now for about 8 years. Started in end of 18, really, and then expanded it into January of 19 and have built it ever since. In 21, I was introduced to the LifeWave Corporation, this non-transdermal stem cell activation patch, a profound science in the form of a patch, meaning we'd been doing injections and IVs for many years, and this is a patch activating your own stem cells. Now, you talk about creativity and then purpose, helping others to identify. Well, this, is for everyone. Everyone has stem cells in their body. At 30, they're 50% dormant. At 60 years of age, they're 90% dormant. That's what creates inflammation in the body and dis-ease setting into the body. And so because the stem cells are the master cells of the body, and it is what really, as I said earlier, repair and restore and regenerate. they're um, pluripotent, and that means that they're non-differentiated, meaning they aren't a brain cell, a heart cell, a lung cell. They become that when that organ or part of the body needs help. And so if it's 50% dormant, and then certainly at 90+% dormant, the body is not functioning properly. So it's extraordinary. I could go on and on about the science, but the point is that I have been evolving. So with not having a brick and mortar, it's really not a problem because this is all remote. I do a lot of Zooms and workshops and things of that nature, and consulting and building teams and helping others to start, scale, and sustain their LifeWave business and other business as well. Meaning that my skincare line, Novita Spa Clinicals, is alive and well, and my vendor and I are doing another project with it, helping salons. That's a whole other point. But the essence is, the thread of it all is the creativity, knowing that clarity of what I am doing, want to do, how I'm doing it, is that clarity. It is that first C. And when you take that first step, once you identify what that clarity is, that will build that confidence, that courage muscle. And that courage muscle means, oh my God, can I do this? Should I do? All of that negative chatter in your brain. But once you take that step, can be very teeny step, very teeny. Doesn't have to be a big grandiose driving, to Fort Worth, from Fort Worth, Texas to Georgetown, Texas. No. It doesn't have to be a big grandiose step. It can be a small step to help you identify if this is in fact what you want to do. And then with that is when that courage muscle begins to build, and that gives you that confidence to commit. Burn those boats. Nothing will stop you. And so what's interesting then about this season is that it didn't just happen yesterday. No. It has been a journey of these last 4.5 years, and really started 5.5 years ago after I sold the business. And the topic of tonight is your purpose will prevail. Prevail means triumph and succeed. And but it has to be what God has a plan for you. Meaning that my purpose has matured. And I learned a long time ago, when I was in sales after my second child was born. And I've shared that story before. I'm not going to go into the details of it tonight, but it was my first sales job. Well, it really wasn't my first sales job, but it was the first one, B to C, building a business sales job. I had worked in Bloomingdale's between my first and second child, and I was the part-time manager of the Biba cosmetic counter, and was trained by the Biba Corporation from London. And that was the beginning of my understanding that my creativity was not going to be in fashion, it was going to be in that beauty world, which I wasn't sure what direction, but I saw that was going to be the category that I was going to work in. So anyway, but this job that I took after she was born, the second child, was a job where I built teams, or built my team. And there was specific products, and I built teams that worked with me to sell these products. And I recognized then that my purpose was to help others build, to identify what they wanted to do. If this was what they wanted to do, then it was my responsibility and my purpose to help them build. I've also, years later, when I started my first skincare brand and started helping salons and spas get into skincare, I used the same principles, meaning that of really mentoring people to help them identify it and then establish it and then grow it. Meaning is that's why I say with the Propel program is to start, scale, and sustain the business and life of your dreams. Because if you do not have a life that you're enjoying, well, then your business is just a job, and you might as well stay in the safe job versus the risk to reward is very high with an entrepreneur. You're stepping out and it's all upon you. So that's, again, another aspect of what I help you when I'm working with you, consulting with you. So the scripture tonight is Proverbs 19, what inspired me to make my own YouTube channel and why. I'll share that in a minute. Proverbs 19:21, because this is really, on some level, speaking about that. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. So, meaning that purpose, did I know that was my purpose years ago? Absolutely not. But over time, I recognized as my relationship with the Lord strengthened, and I learned to ask and seek and be guided, then I recognized that was, I mean, what I didn't set out, let's just say that. It revealed itself to me. And so over time, it just became much more prevalent in my life that this was what my purpose is. So today, in closing this one, it's not even a chapter. It's this, because it's evolving again, but it's not. But it will not have a brick and mortar to it. So to answer your question about what guided me to start a YouTube channel, the answer of that is, again, very similar. In 2020, I was during the earlier and mid stages of the COVID mess. I live in Texas, so my spa was not closed as long as some other states. But regardless, it was from March 21st, black and white. Remember, I'll never forget it. Through, I think it was May. So it was fairly long, but not like some other states, as I said. During that season, I was very involved with online not channels, but a audio app called Clubhouse. And I was really very involved. I had my own Clubhouse room. I was involved with a guy named Glenn Lundy, and he started Breakfast with Champions, and I was a speaker on that. I was a speaker in a social media marketing room. I was very involved with it. And during that season, I was asked to be on many podcasts. So, the ever creative as I am, I said to myself, I should have a podcast. So I started a podcast, which when you go to propel.megandimartino.com/info, which is my link tree, there is there's lots there. The Propel program is there, but there's also a free Propel community. Click on that and join the Propel community. It's no charge. Also, in the Propel community and on that link tree is a link to my podcast. As I said, initially in 2020, it was Unique Leaders Live. I've always been interviewing others because I really want to bring to you information from other people that you can glean from. All the overarching is about propelling your business and life. And so there you can go to the podcast. I mean, you can go to Spotify and the Apple podcasting and other podcast platforms, but you can also go there and the archives of them all are there. As I started the Propel program, I then started branding the Propel name, and I changed Unique Leaders to Propel Deep Dive. Again, interviewing thought leaders of speakers, writers, authors, entertainers, that really have started and scaled their businesses from nothing, and like I have, and because I don't share that to impress you, I just share to impress upon you that you too can do it. So back to your question, we then used StreamYard and we streamed it into YouTube as well as on Facebook, because at first it was live before we started recording them. And I'm talking about the podcast. And so we used StreamYard, and so with that started a YouTube channel. Now, over time, I have used it and expanded it. I'm talking about YouTube now, and started doing lives myself, not in an interview show. I mean, you still can find the, you have to scroll back, but I guess you could put in the search bar, Megan DiMartino, I guess you could, and put in Unique Leaders Live, and they would be there, and then Propel Deep Dive. So anyway, last summer, I started doing a live segment every day for 75 days, preparing for a big birthday that was coming up. Started in May, and then after I finished that, I just said, well, I'm just going to continue because, again, my heart is you, to help you identify your dreams, goals, and desires. I hope that answered your question about that. So I have started it's evolved it again to the Propel expansion, but it's all about helping you identify your dreams, goals, and desires. And I share anecdotal points to it because, again, my experience can help you see yourself in the middle of all of this and know that you too can do this. Hope that makes sense. So on my link tree, that my book, Hope and Possibilities Just Over the Horizon, is there. My TED Talk that I did last year on innovation, because I've started, scaled, and sustained and sold 3 multi-7-figure businesses. And again, I'm not sharing that to impress you. I'm sharing to impress upon you that you too can do it. Because again, when you're clear about what you want to do and the why of it, then you take that step. You'll build that courage muscle. It'll bring you to that clarity. Yes, I can do this. And that is when you commit. And then commit. The last C is compassion. And make no mistakes. You make no mistake. You will make mistakes. And failure is the greatest tutor, as George Washington's mother said in Young Washington. And you learn from it and you grow. And it is the truth. It is fact. So basically, God knows your purpose and is always guiding you, but you have to be open to listen and be malleable enough to not be so set in your ways, say, oh, no, this is the way. Because again, guys, this journey of this 1 month, where I am, this clinic started really in summer of 21, after I was introduced to LifeWave. At that point, it had no bearing on that, but I was praying about where should I be? What should I do? Should I continue doing the stem cell? Should I expand it? All of those things. I was using that one small clinic, subleasing it, and that's when I heard in my still quiet small voice, go home and be ready. Okay, and so it's been a journey, but these years are finished here with this brick and mortar, and it's time to evolve again and to continue to help you start, scale, and sustain the business and life of your dreams. So I hope that made sense, that your purpose will be revealed to you, and basically it will prevail if it is for the right reasons. If you're doing it for what you're supposed to be doing, meaning if you're being guided and you really trust. That's why Proverbs 3:5-6 is my absolute foundational scripture. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways, he will acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. He will. He will. So good to be back. As I shared when I first started coming live tonight, I prepared for a big a sale here at the clinic, transformed it to a boutique from a medical clinic on Thursday and Friday. So it was lotta. And last night I just went to sleep. So I wanted to make sure I came live tonight with you. So I do subscribe to this. It helps others find, as the person asked, what made me do a YouTube channel. And it is about you, to communicate with you, to help you identify your dreams and goals and desires through my experiences and help you start, scale, and sustain them. I do have a program, 5 videos, 5 workbooks, and working with me. You can read about that at propel.megandimartino.com/info, but join free the Propel community. And there's an audio book actually there. You can go to Amazon, pay for it, but it's free, no charge, there on the link tree. The ebook is there as well. My TED Talk is there, link to that. Information about LifeWave is there. So much. And of course the podcasts are there as well. So propel.megandimartino.com/info and join me there. But subscribe to my YouTube page, channel rather. Thank you for joining me tonight, guys. And ring that bell, because you will be notified when the next time I go live, which is probably tomorrow. So remember that it's never too early or too late to create the life of your dreams. See you soon, and be blessed.